The first adjustment is going to be the derailleur's position up and down. For this we want to make sure that the wire is loose and also the clamp is loose so that we can move the derailleur in any direction. We want to make it so that there is just a small, maybe 2 millimeter gap between the outer cage of the derailleur and the big chain ring on the crank. You can also try and get it so it's a little bit parallel right now, but for the first step make sure that there's just a very small gap between here so that the chain can't fall through and fall off the crank while we're shifting. Now that the derailleur's position up and down is set, we want to try and get the adjustment side to side set. For this you want to make sure that this outer cage is parallel to the outer ring. So twist it until it's just about even. Sometimes it can be pretty tricky. Now that we've got the derailleur's position set up and down and left and right, the next step is going to be the low limit screw. For this you want to make sure that the chain is in the easiest gear in back and the smallest chain ring in front. Making this adjustment, if you turn the screw in, it's going to pull the derailleur out away from the frame. If you loosen the screw, it's going to allow the derailleur to move in towards the frame. We want to make this adjustment so that there's just a very, very small gap between the derailleur and the chain. To check the adjustment, pull the derailleur out and shift the chain into the middle ring, then see if the chain will fall back down into the easy ring. If the chain won't fall, you need to loosen the screw a little bit. If the chain falls down into the frame, you need to tighten the screw just a little bit. Go ahead and reconnect the derailleur wire. Usually you can pull it just about as hard as you can with your fingers. Sometimes you'll need a tool, like a pair of pliers, but normally you don't. The wire tension should be tight enough that when you shift to the second gear, it pushes the chain up into the middle ring, but doesn't quite rub on the inside. If it does rub on the inside of the derailleur here, you need to loosen the wire just a touch. And you also want to make sure that the chain is in the easiest gear and back so that the chain is as far inside as you can. Then double check in this middle ring still, the hardest gear and back. You want to make sure that the chain isn't rubbing on the inside. If the chain is rubbing here, you need to tighten the wire to bring it out just a little bit. Fine wire tension adjustment is done using the adjustment barrel near the shifter. Unthreading the adjustment barrel will tighten the wire and cause the derailleur to swing farther with each click of the shifter. Threading the barrel in will loosen the wire and cause the derailleur to swing less with each click of the shifter. Then push the chain into the big ring. With the chain in the smallest ring in back and the big ring in front, we can set the high limit. The high limit controls how far out the derailleur can come. We want to make sure that the chain doesn't quite rub on the inside, but that there's not enough room that the derailleur could overshift and it could fall off. So turning the screw in will push the derailleur in towards the frame. Turning the screw out will move the derailleur out away from the frame.